to Sci-Futures podcast. This is the show that questions what it would be like to live in different sci-fi worlds and futures. As always, my name is Claire, and I'm joined by my wonderful, wonderful, and super, super talented co-host. Is Mr. Rupert Booth.
Hello there. I
Yeah.
don't know where the wonderful and super talented one is tonight, but I'll just stand in for him. So it'll all be fine.
Swished. It's all true. It's all true. So anyway, Rupert.
Did you actually go wished at me there?
Yes, I did.
That's so Scottish. That's brilliant. I'm going to tell a friend that I got wished at. Sorry, carry on. Hello.
Wished. I wished a lot in the chat whenever I'm on Twitch. I do wished a lot of people.
Oh,
Wished.
fantastic. Excellent.
They started calling me Scottish Mum now.
Have they?
Yeah, I'm slipping into my role. This is it.
Well, because as established, apparently you're old.
Yeah, well, not as old as you though, but
Which means I'm from Cretaceous, but I kind of knew that, and I own it, so fine, bring it.
we are back for another episode. It's only episode 2. It's only episode 2.
Yes.
Last week, we talked about Brazil, which is an amazing film, and we had lots and lots to talk about. But this week, Rupert chose the film The War of the Worlds, the 1953 version of War of the Worlds, right? So, before we talk about The War of the Worlds, Rupert, from our conversation last week, I was thinking a lot and watching the news and the days afterwards and thinking about all the topics we talked about in Brazil.
Yeah.
Did it make you think? Has it made you like open your eyes to different things that are happening right now?
Brazil,
Yes.
not specifically because it opened my eyes to those sort of things an awful long time ago. I'm still very much approaching things with the mindset that it, in part, along with lots of other media and other influences, taught me. But nothing new from the last viewing. Apart from how gorgeous it was, I'd forgotten how good it looks.
Beautiful. And that's sort of testament to the fact that, well, thing is, when you first watch it and you watch it years ago, of course your eyes get open, but nothing's changed because those themes, as we said last week,
Yeah.
are still very apparent today.
Oh, absolutely, totally relevant still. Yeah, yeah.
Totally.
And that was before, of course, that was also before the internet had happened.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of other, levels of invasiveness that Brazil wasn't aware of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But still, regardless of the internet or not, still exactly the same. Still the same old
Yeah.
human beings with the
Yeah, yeah.
with the same old hierarchies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we are talking about the War of the Worlds tonight, and I've got a little
Yeah.
poster. The poster's amazing. That's this sort of 1950, the poster from 1953. It says "Color by Technicolor" on it, and you can see the alien hand reaching down for the couple. I love that poster. Tell me, Rupert, why did you choose this film?
Because originally, you asked me to make a list of my top science fiction films, and a lot of them actually are from the 50s, because you've got this explosion in science fiction. It enters this sort of golden era in the 50s. There's an awful lot of very, very good films. There's an awful lot more very, very bad ones, but they're for another session, the whole B-movie side of it. But you also get these basically high-budget blockbusters, as you'd recognise today. And this was one of the biggest performing, probably the biggest performing science fiction film of 1953. I don't know the exact numbers, but it was one of the big ones. It did good box office. It was, Star Wars of its day.
Yeah.
in terms of spectacle.
Oh my God,
It-
100%.
Effects on this scale, and in colour, Technicolor at that, hadn't really been seen. The level of realism, though it may look hokey now, compared to what had come before, was pretty good and pretty, impressive.
We'll talk about the effects and things later because I think watching it back, it still looks pretty good to me. Like, I think
Yeah,
it still
yeah.
looks amazing.
It does.
How old were you when you saw this film? So, like, where and when were you?
I was up at home in the northeast of England, and it was about 81 or 82. I was going to check, but I didn't have time today. BBC Two showed a season of science fiction films, classic science fiction films. Everyone my age who's into science fiction remembers this season. A lot of my friends do, who are contemporaries in age, certainly. So I'd have been about 9 or 10,
Right.
unless it was 83, in which case I'd have been 11. And it was great. It was great. I might have caught some of these things in the 70s, but not really paid much attention or seen half of it or something like that. But, Forbidden Planet, Day the Earth Stood Still,
Oh
This
yeah.
Island Earth, all of these sort of things. Invaders from Mars, which is an acquired taste, but I quite like it because it's funny.
Yeah.
Um, And I like anything that's got a head in a jar that sits like that in a kind of fish tank, and is that's the ultimate development, that is. And he's got these like, guys in jock straps with the heat guns, kind of like, okay, okay, this is great, this is bonkers. And War of the Worlds, which is one of the least bonkers ones of the lot. It's actually, sorry, I'm talking too much. You carry on.
No, 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 no. Keep going. Like I love your
Oh,
thing. Is this
um,
is why we do this because we quickly discovered that we both had a shared passion for sci-fi,
oh
and
yeah, true.
there are so many crossovers we have, but so many
Mm,
differences as well, which I
mm, mm,
love.
mm, mm,
And
mm.
so, what was when you first saw this film and you were a little boy?
Yeah,
What was it that grabbed you? What was it that made you go that? Yeah,
it
I
was an
love
alien
this.
hand on my shoulder that grabbed me. Um, I'd already been grabbed by science fiction. That had been done in the 70s by Doctor Who and Star Trek and Blake Seven and things like that. So I was already avidly looking for, and this is not like today. I didn't have a video recorder then. So anything science fiction you kind of seize onto and go, all right, well, let's give this a try.
Yeah.
And even back then, I could see that some of them were dodgier than others, but this drew me in. It was a well told story. The effects, I mean, so we're talking early 80s. It's not hugely old a film
Yeah.
by then. It was kind of, obviously it wasn't as good as Star Wars or the Star Trek films I've seen in the cinema, but nothing was.
But it's
All that.
like, 1953, when we were
Mm,
talking before we did this pod today, yesterday we had a quick chat.
mhm.
And when we think about 1953, and you rightly said, that's like what, only like 8 years after the Second World War
Yeah,
ended.
yeah,
And you've
yeah.
got this amazing film with some quite hefty themes for that time,
Mm,
considering where they
mm,
had come from, the
yeah,
atmosphere that they built, and also I think it still looks beautiful, even though
it
some of the
does.
effects are
It
a bit
does.
like, okay, of course
Yeah.
we're used to seeing whatever we can imagine can be put on the screen, but
Mm,
if you think about the ingenuity of the effects team, I think it's
mm.
incredible, like an incredible
Oh,
film.
I mean, certainly the first time I saw it, even at that age, I was fascinated by effects work, and was kind of starting to realize that you get one end of it on TV where they haven't got the money, and
Yeah.
the other end in things like Star Wars, and then you go back. I was a big fan of Ray Harryhausen films that were on the 70s and into the 80s, and some of them went back to kind of the late 50s and the 60s, and the film quality was different, and you could tell it was an older and slightly more primitive film. So this was all sort of heady stuff. Um,
Now, I came to the film a little bit in a different way. I
mm,
came to the film through, and we were listening to it before we actually started this, just to get people hyped up.
mm.
Um, Jeff Wayne's
Jeff
musical
Wayne,
version.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, my dad used to have the gatefolds, beautiful big vinyl kind of.
Mm-hmm,
It was gorgeous,
mm-hmm.
and I was obsessed with the front cover. And you can
Yeah.
see this sort of like, and it again, it's a completely different version, and completely different from the book to the film to the
Mm,
whatever. But I
mm,
was obsessed
mm.
with those kind of spider-like looking
Yeah,
spaceships on the front, and just the voice at the beginning, and then do
yeah,
do do.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and my dad used to play it up really loud,
Mm-hmm. As you should.
and he used to, because he knew it would scare me, so he played it up really really loud. And then my mum showed me the film, so,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I must have been like 5 or 6, and I
Right.
was not ready for it at all.
No, that would have been terrifying.
it's, it's
That would have been scarring.
the moments of you when you first see the alien out in the wild, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and it screams when they kind of like throw something at it.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that I love all that, but it was very scary.
Yeah. It
And
was actually, was it? It was creepy, like I said yesterday. We'll come to that, no doubt.
yes, it was
Mm,
extremely creepy. But let's talk
mm,
about just talking about the creepiness, because I love a
mm,
segue, and rightly
mm.
so. Rupert has segued beautifully.
Oh,
This is why we're doing
I
this, you
give great
guys.
segue, mate.
Rupert's available for segues, guys.
I
Segues.
am, yes, yes. Segways and voguing as aliens.
If you need any segue actors or voguing alien work, then yeah, Rupert's your man.
Yeah, seriously, it's a bit
get
hand to mouth right now.
get on it, producers. So, um, those opening scenes of the film,
Mm,
we have
mm.
they describe the man at war. They describe
Yeah.
World War One, World War Two, and then it segues into this very creepy, languid space scene telling the story of the
Mm,
aliens, how
mm.
each world they contemplated each world wasn't quite right until they decided on
No,
Earth.
no, and each film wasn't quite right in its scientific depiction either. But
Yeah.
hey ho.
I love that though, and it's very creepy. And I was watching it
Yeah.
yesterday and thinking, God, this still freaks me out a little bit because it's like, oh
And
shit.
And going back to the point about it being, years after the war, you start with stock footage from the war,
Yeah,
10 years old at most, absolutely in the memory of most people who will be watching this film the first time in the cinema, even if they were kids that have been born probably, during war. So very real, very grounding, like news footage being used something, and then you suddenly go off, like you say, into this, and now we're off to all the different planets, and it's kind of, ooh, that would have probably had a bigger kick back then than it does now because that
absolutely.
footage was so contemporary.
Absolutely, and we don't have memories of war. We don't have memories
No,
of that, and
no.
it's completely, and even that in itself is completely different from what we're going through right now, which we'll talk about
Yeah, yeah,
later.
yeah. Oh, indeed.
But before we go on to the next sort of section, there's a few comments that I want to read out
Hmm.
from the chat. Nate says, I've got a question for Rupert, and I think, Nate, I know what the answer is going to be. But he says, did you hear about the conspiracy theory that War of the Worlds, so I'm at War of the Worlds actually happened, and the US government got Orson Welles to do something on the Chicago radio? Sorry, you've not written that out very well, Nate, so I don't really understand what you're trying to say, but I think there was a hoax years ago, and basically they put out the radio broadcast.
I know about this.
Yes, and I know about that too, Nate. That's really
Mm,
famous. That's like a really famous thing. And the
mm,
first time
mm.
I heard it when I was a little girl, it creeped me out. It's a horrible feeling, to
Yeah,
imagine actually hearing that. So I think, yeah, we've both heard of that. And
that's
I've
yeah.
got another comment from Cactus Snacks. Cactus Snacks said, when you were telling everybody about all your favourite sci-fi films from that era, Cactus Snacks says, you've basically named half of his or a quarter of his DVD collection right there. So like that's
Nice,
he's all on
nice,
board. Yeah, he's
nice, nice.
quoted half of part of my DVD shelf. And Nicky Drinks,
Excellent.
excellent. I knew because Cactus Axe has been looking forward to this. He's been like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
very much looking forward to this. Forbidden Planet is amazing, says
Oh,
Nikki.
it is. It is.
It looks even better in HD, and the soundtrack is a great thing to fall asleep to. Yes.
Ooh, I'm not sure I could fall asleep to it. It would jar me too much. But the soundtrack is a great thing.
Not sure what that says about Nikki then. It's like, okay.
That she's a Krell.
Yeah. If you ever flick through the art book of the album, you never did youth correctly, says Cactus. Yes, I agree. Now, let's talk about H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds.
Hmm.
So, we see the 50s film is set in that time period, set in
Mm.
LA, set in California. Okay, see parts of
Hmm.
LA, parts of downtown California. But the novel itself is actually based in Victorian London because, of course, that's when H.G. Wells was
Absolutely.
prevalent. Have you
Yeah.
read the book? Have you read it?
Yes, but a long time ago.
And what did you make of the book then in comparison to the film?
I thoroughly enjoyed it and immediately separated them out as being two different things. I'd seen the film first when I started the book. You know what? Actually, my first encounter with the book was as an adaptation, possibly as a comic strip adaptation, possibly in the back of Doctor Who Weekly or Star
Ah,
Wars Weekly in the late 70s or early 80s. They would run science fiction stories adapted. You'd have a Doctor Who strip or Star Wars strip at the front, and then you'd have a science fiction story adapted as a comic strip. So that would have been the first time I got the hang of the Victorian War of the Worlds. Actually, I would have seen that before I saw the film. Thinking about it,
see, I've
so
never read the book. I've read part of the book,
ah,
maybe about a quarter to a third of the way
uh-huh.
through the book, and I
Mhm.
I love the way he describes how they open
Mm,
spaceships. You know, you can
mm,
really you
mm,
hear that in
mm.
the Jeff Wayne soundtrack a little bit. That
Yeah, 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 yeah.
oh, it's very scary. Even in the film, even in the
They,
film.
well, that's it. It's a moment that the slow unscrewing of the lid. It's kind of like, right, you don't mess with that. They unscrew their ships. They take time over it. What other aliens unscrew their doors? I don't know. Nothing else.
I think Star Trek and Star Wars would have been very different if they were unscrewing doors. Chewie, just wait there for a second. I'm just unscrewing the
Absolutely, yeah,
door.
yeah. I just unscrew the door a bit. It would work in the very first reveal of Vader in Star Wars, the Star Wars. I refuse to call it A New Hope because it was called Star Wars when I first saw it.
Yes.
Um, but where they slowly just unscrewed the hatch before he came in and all the stormtroopers and stuff. But the rest of it, yeah, anything with high drama, you don't want to be screwing your door
Yeah,
on.
totally. You've got like you're about to fight the Klingons or there's some kind of, and you're trying to get out of the ship. And you're like, just one
Yeah,
second.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. And
Scotty's got this. He's opening the door. He's trying to open the door. You guys, he's got
Scotty,
this.
Scotty, who is logical and rational about these things, is standing there going, "Guys, this is why we invented the transporter.
Yeah,
Forget
totally.
the door. We've got teleport. You don't need the door."
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but that's brilliant. The door got a bit wrong. Sorry.
but
You, you, you can have warp drive, or you can have doors that work. What do you want?
what do you want? What do you want?
Yeah,
I like the fact
that.
though in this the unscrewing. Oh, you're
Yeah,
totally right. Oh, it's
yeah,
really creepy. It's so
yeah, 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 yeah.
creepy.
But
Like
it's tension, isn't it? It takes its time.
I
You know.
love it. Yeah, and it should. Like it should.
Yeah.
Thing is, even though Brazil last week is like a big 2.5 to 3 hour film, right?
Mm,
Then
mm,
you've got War of the Worlds is super short in comparison.
yeah.
It's like an hour
Yeah.
and
It's about
30.
83 or something like that. Yeah.
It's like very short.
Mm,
But it's that I found with the War of the Worlds. Watching it again, you've got all this build up, and everything kind of like
mm,
collapses and stops quite quickly,
mm.
which is kind of strange. But anyway, back to H.G. Wells. We'll come back to the story in a second.
Yeah.
The only H.G. Wells novel I have read all the way through and have read 3-4 times is The Time Machine. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Ah, yes, yes.
Love The Time
Mm-hmm.
Machine. And do you have any
Mm-hmm.
other favourite sci-fi novels, Rupert? Any other favourite sci-fi novels?
Yes, but without having thought about that question, I can't answer off the top of my head very effectively.
Oh, sorry, I put you on
Sorry.
the spot. So sorry. I don't love I love sci-fi films, but I don't love sci-fi novels as
Mhm,
much weirdly. Like I don't mind them, but I prefer
mhm,
watching sci-fi
mhm,
'cause I
mhm,
like to see
mhm,
the spectacle. But
mhm,
that was The Time Machine was the maybe one of the first things I ever read, and then the next thing I read after that was My Teacher is an Alien, and it was just about this like guy who was kind of creepy
mhm.
vibes, and he was definitely an alien. And he takes off his
Right.
head. They describe him taking off his mask, and he's just his green pulsing skin. Oh, it's a great novel. It's a teenage novel. It was really
Okay.
that was like a thing that I absolutely loved when I was younger. I've got few people in the chat here saying. Frankly, my dear says, imagine if the screw door is stuck and you have to run it under hot water to loosen it. Can you
Yeah, or WD-40 and stuff like that, and getting screwdrivers in to kind of lever it. It's just embarrassing for an invasion force. You turn around, eventually you just go. You got sorry, yeah, sorry about
He's
that.
like, sorry
Sorry.
for bothering you, humans of Earth, but
We will try. We will try Jupiter with its enormous rocky mountains and volcanoes. Apparently.
yeah, totally. I love
Uh,
the way they describe all the different like places. So
yeah.
let's look at the actual themes behind the film.
Mm, mm, mm.
So it's a really interesting one because there's actually
It
quite a
is.
lot of themes in the film. I think
There's more going on under the surface. You think it's a bit of a sort of action spectacle, but actually there's a bit more going on.
what do you get from the film having watched it as an adult again and again and in your later years? What themes kind of stick out to you from watching it
Well,
again?
well, one thing that's brave is as we said, it's not long after the Second World War, and so there's a lot of very convincing military hardware on display because presumably it was army surplus. There's quite a lot of this stuff around, so it all turns up, and the American army turns out in force and throw everything at the Martians, including eventually the sainted atom bomb, the ultimate nothing can beat this. We
Yep.
are the strongest thing. And the Martians just kind of go and put
Yes.
and put their shields up and ride it out and then come out and start just and I think that's quite brave for 1953 to show all the great might that had helped to beat the Nazis and all that sort of thing. Absolutely useless.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, brought low, emasculated, and you're not going to win. So that's an interesting theme, I think. You know, the sort of the very much post-war deployment. All the soldiers, everyone knows what it looks like. Everyone knows what soldiering is like,
Mm.
even at this kind of level. You know, there's no blood, there's no gore, there's none of the real psychological horror. But still, you know, it's all quite sort of convincing looking and very familiar to audiences, and that must have been quite scary because of that familiarity. Again, like the title sequence.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all completely undermined, and no, no. It's just the technology's way ahead. You've got now,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. This is the thing.
you know.
There's this assumption, I think,
Mm,
in any time that I think the human race feel that
mm.
they are the bee's knees. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
that they are the dog's balls, basically. So
yeah,
they are the dog's balls, and that's it. And
yeah.
we see now what I found. So if we talk about like the invasion aspect
Mm,
and being powerless, very quickly the human beings can be rendered powerless very quickly. That whole scene that
yeah,
you talked about with the bomb, and they're like,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
this is it, get the
yeah,
goggles on, you know,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
all, they've got the dust on afterwards, they're
Mm,
all dusty,
mm,
and they just come through and they're like, and the guy says it was like toys to them, it was
yeah.
like and that is really pertinent and quite
One
scary.
one thing I loved about that as well was that it didn't treat the army general. In a lot of 50 science fiction films, the army general is gung ho and stupid. After the atom bomb had failed, he says to the scientists, "Right, our only hope now is anything you guys can come up with. We'll hold them off from you for as long as we can."
Yeah,
And I thought,
yeah,
what an intelligent comment. You know,
yeah,
he's not sneering at the scientist or dismissing him. He's working with him.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I thought that was a nice little evocation of, okay, we are all in this together now. You know, whatever the hell we have to be.
If
Um,
only that were true, that we could all just
mm,
stick together in times of
oh, well,
crisis.
the Martians haven't landed yet. Give it time. Give it a few weeks.
That's true, that's true. But if a pandemic can't bring us together, then what can? Like, Jesus Christ.
Let's see how long it lasts.
I like the idea of the strength of nature as well.
Mm,
And I
mm.
think I think that idea that we are not invincible, and actually neither are they. So,
So,
yeah, go
sorry.
on.
You know, so we can talk about the ending. Yeah.
Yes, let's talk. The spoiler alert. We're
So,
about to give
so
away the ending if you have not seen it. So go for it, Rupert.
yeah, it's only an over 100-year-old story.
Yeah.
Um, the Martians are eventually defeated. You know, we can't defeat their machines, but the creatures inside the organisms are defeated by germs. You know, viruses that we've long since gotten immunity to
Yeah.
over the centuries. Um, and it suddenly goes all very reverential. I'd say it isn't even about nature; it's very much about God. Because it's all, and you know, I think that's from the original book certainly. It's very much, you know, the organisms. You get the voiceover of Sir Cedric Hardwicke, very British,
Hmm.
who's been, you know, he's the voice at the beginning talking about the planets, and then he's there in the middle going, the British fought fantastically. I noticed that, and go, oh yeah, of course you're going to say that, mate. And they actually have a little bit in the middle where they go around the countries and go, oh, they were all marvellous. They were jolly good boys, you know. Which is very bless. Um, but alas, their bravery was to no avail against superior machinery, and all this. And yeah, so viruses, whatever.
Hmm.
Kill the Martians
Yep.
at the end, and it's very much put down to the wisdom of God in putting these things on the Earth. And of course, you can't help right now but going, God, blimey, viruses bringing a technologically advanced civilization low.
Exactly.
And there's yet better. I did a bit of research earlier on,
Oh, go on.
and
Rupert's done research. Go on.
film, the scenes on location were filmed in a village called COVID. And he mentions it a couple of times. We've just come from COVID, and I'm thinking, I wish I could just go. So,
Ooh.
Ooh, I know.
Did
Oh yes,
Oh yes, I like that
absolutely.
connection. Take
Yeah,
that, guys.
thank
Take
you.
that.
Um,
That's I mean, Rupert's done some research and he slammed it on the tape. That is like a mic drop. That is
I
a mic drop.
seriously, I've had that one sitting here for about, well, you know, since I watched it this afternoon, and I mentioned. It's not COVID. You know what? I got it wrong. It's Corona, not COVID.
Oh, is it?
So
Still.
it's not quite as cool because I got the word wrong, but it's still Corona. So
Oh, did they know something that we didn't? What were they
Corona. I'm
trying to
just
tell?
doing it. Nothing. They weren't trying to tell us anything. It's from
No.
1953.
Yeah, it was a coincidence, you guys.
It's a
Sorry.
coincidence, complete
There's
coincidence. Yeah, yeah.
there's
That's what it
a
is.
it's a corona incidence. It's a corona
But
incidence.
it made me wonder what the coronavirus is doing to the town of Corona in America right now.
Oh my
So
God, I didn't even know there was a
yeah,
town called Corona.
they must just be really pissed off. They must be going, "Oh, come on,
Yeah, like
seriously? What have I done?" You know.
that idea at the end, as I said to you earlier, you've got this relentless, unstoppable force.
Mm,
They're ripping their way through LA, and you see downtown
mm,
LA like ripped to shreds, right?
mm.
And then all of a sudden, he finds a church, and they're really like it kind of all culminates very quickly, actually, considering the build
Yeah,
up.
it does.
And
It
then all
does.
of a sudden, it just stops, and
They just go, "Oh,
they all just start crashing, and we
yeah."
see the door open, and the pulsating skin of the alien
Mm,
as the little hand comes out. You can see
mm.
it on screen right now. I've got a picture of it on screen, and he's like, "Oh,
It's a great 50 science fiction hand that giving it all that bit, isn't it? It's a great proper kind of.
I love that. Like,
And it's
I
got
love it."
suckers like aliens should have on their fingers. Brilliant.
Yes, all aliens need to have suckers on their fingers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, proper 1950s alien stuff. But I
Yeah.
love that it just it's that realization. But another theme, the strength of nature and that unstoppable
Mm.
force, I think is very important. But also the breakdown of society. I
Yeah.
think it's a very important
Yeah.
thing to remember.
The looters.
The I mean, when we had the London riots here not so long ago,
Mm.
I was reading accounts of people who had taken part in the London riots, and there was one guy who was just a normal bloke, an estate agent. He had a really good
Mm-hmm.
job, but he smashed a window in and stole a TV. And
Mm.
afterwards, they asked him why he did that, and he went, "I don't know." He just was like everyone else was doing it, and I was thought that is the scariest thing I've ever heard.
It's the wild hunt from Quatermass. It's the mob mentality, isn't it?
Yes. Would you
Yeah.
have you? I mean, I think I know the answer to this, but have you ever felt that way inclined, that mob, like ever to
Would
join
I?
the?
No, I wouldn't steal the telly. I'd steal it. Oh, not so far. But I haven't been in a situation like that, fortunately.
I wonder what it
Um,
is to drive
as
people to that mob mentality, feel that
You see,
attitude.
I've always thought if say I was in War of the Worlds and the Martians had landed and had destroyed great chunks of London and the mob were going mad, I think I'd run in the opposite direction to the mob
Same.
because the Martians are going to be pursuing the greatest amount of people, aren't they?
Yes.
So I'm going in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And also, the mob are going to be stripping all the food that way, so I'm going in the opposite direction.
Yes. You're
All in
100.
all, and the mob are insane, so I'm going in the opposite direction.
You're 100% correct, and I'm gonna ask the chat that chat who are listening in tonight. What would
Especially
you
the
do
stolen car.
if the aliens come down and there's an alien invasion tomorrow? What's your plan? I want to know what your plan is. I would be the same, Rupert. Actually,
Opposite direction, it works. Opposite direction to the alien invasion.
every
I think
single
that's just the.
time, every
Yeah,
single time.
yeah.
And also, there's this whole kind of idea, like even right now, like I'm avoiding. Well, we're on lockdown and we're social distancing, so we're meant to avoid people anyway. But people are still going to the parks and sunbathing and
Hmm.
doing whatever the hell they want. And I said to Paul, let's just do the opposite of that. I'm just gonna do what I'm told and do the opposite of everything else and stay at home and be really good and just pretend everyone's got this thing and I'm just not going to go near them. I don't trust mob
Yeah.
mentality. I don't trust it.
No, you can't
Don't
control it.
trust
You
it.
can't. You can't. You can't reason with it. You can't be logical with it. So the best thing to do is stay the hell away.
Yeah, actually just run.
Unless you have an atom bomb. But even that, they'll just throw up their shields over them, and it'll be like toys, man.
Exactly. You don't know what's gonna. So we've got C McGurk here. Hi, C McGurk. C McGurk says that C McGurk would run from the aliens.
Yeah.
Frankly, my dear, said, I'd run to Electric Avenue because out in the streets there are violence. Oh, I like that punnage.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
that punnage.
yeah.
Okay.
Nice, nice.
Nice one, Franklin, my dear. Nikki Drink says, lock the cat flap so that my cat doesn't go out to investigate. That's a good one. Yeah,
Hmm.
I would lock
Hmm.
the cat flap as well. I definitely very, very wise, says Rupert's biggest fan. Cactus says, if they're here tomorrow, then we just give them a cheeky cough and a sneeze. Oh, we've got coronavirus on the go, so
Rupert's biggest fan. I bet that's someone I know, you know. I bet that's someone.
It could be someone that you know. I'm wondering who it could be, guys. Let's try and solve. The real mystery, though, is who is Rupert's biggest fan. Can we solve that? Can we solve it? I would go to my Doctor
I
Who.
know, I'll just ask my friends afterwards and find out which one of them it is.
Well, this could be a clue. This could be a clue. Rupert's biggest fan says I would go into my Doctor Who cosplay mode. Okay. So someone who does Doctor Who cosplay and confront them with my sonic screwdriver, right? And C. McGurk just says quite simply, just run, just run.
Run.
Ellie says,
Drive. Steal a car. Run to a car that the mob's abandoned. Steal it. Drive it away because it's faster than running. And you can put the cat in it. So you wouldn't have to, you know, the closing of the flap and everything like that. Put cat in car. Take cat and yourself away from the invasion.
away. I would board the windows up, says Ellie. Yeah, I would either run away or if it's not possible, just pretend no one's home.
That's the two options, isn't it? So it's either bed down or run away.
Yeah, bed down or run away. I know
Yeah.
I like the film Children of Men because I think Children of Men depicts a very not so distant future, and I like Michael Caine's character. I don't know if you've seen Children of Men. Have you seen it?
It rings a bell, but I
Oh,
can't place it.
it's if you've not, it's amazing.
Mm.
But Michael Caine's character in the film, he's just in the countryside away from everyone. Everyone. Well,
Yeah, yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
going mad, and he's just growing weed or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, like, pretty much, like, he's just chilling out in the countryside, smoking it up.
That's kind of what you want to do if there was that sort of thing going on, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what I've always thought. I'd head to a castle or something like that and just try and get a little team of survivors together. Then again, it wouldn't work if it was Martian invaders because they'd just come and twat the castle.
Yeah,
So
that's the thing. I think boarding up the
caves,
house.
caves. Then it's got to be a cave, underground cave that's got an underground stream. Yeah.
Okay, so an underground. I'm maybe with Ellie 64 here. I think I would board up the house and pretend no one's home, and then go out occasionally to get food and come back, kind of thing. I think that might be the safest option.
But War of the Worlds, they'll put a camera prong in and have a look at you, and you
That's
don't want
true.
that,
That's true.
you know.
That is actually true.
And then they just turn around and zap your house, and then you're stuck.
That is actually true. So anyway, let's go on to the themes, right? So
I love how seriously we're discussing that, you know, because it's like it's going to happen.
I know.
Who knows this year? You know, well, I don't know. It might.
I don't know. It's 2020, and
Yeah,
I had
yeah,
high
'cause
hopes
it's
for this
2020.
year.
Oh, dude, just yeah.
I mean, serious. I mean, I think the best things that have happened about 2020 so far is the fact that we can do this together, which is quite nice. And there's other things to announce in the coming weeks and things like that. But so there are things happening. But I would like to be able to like have a drink with my friends again without fear.
Nice, wouldn't it?
That would be
Death.
lovely. It would be lovely.
That'd be gorgeous. Yeah,
That
just get
would
one of
be
the
very
projects.
novel. Very
Excellent.
novel.
Sorry, I've got a really itchy ear. There you go. Just
He's
good.
not used to wearing the headphones, folks. He's getting professional. It's professional
I
setup
know.
here now.
I know. Yeah, absolutely.
So, right, Rupert.
Yes.
We're talking about 2020, right?
Right.
And we talked about some of those themes. Do you think some of the themes that we see in the War of the Worlds are apt for these times now? And which themes do you think they would be? And same question to the chat.
Oh well, I mean, the most apt one at the moment, obviously, is the sort of breakdown of society. Now, it's not happening to any extent like it does in War of the Worlds, but we have a little taste of it. Things aren't normal at the moment, and we are living through a crisis. So, you know, certainly in the earlier parts of, well, no, it gets to the army and things, but we're in the thick of it fairly early, aren't we? But imagine what was going on in the rest of the world as things slowly advance, you know, before they actually hit your town and city. It would be kind of, you know, you'd be in lockdown by that point, wouldn't you? There are Martians now. And then it would become martial law, I guess, and then it would become Martian law. So yeah. I think that's the most relevant thing that I took from it, certainly.
Let's consider what would actually happen if this was a possibility. Let's just say the Martian invaders come down looking to destroy and colonize our planet. Like, what do you think would actually happen? Do you think, because now that I'm looking at the pandemic and the way that governments have treated the pandemic, some better than others, what should have happened was all governments should have talked together and
Yeah.
and come together with one forward-thinking plan.
Yeah, yeah, there should have been a global plan ideally.
It should have been a global plan because the ones that are messing it up for everyone else that's doing it right just slows everything down, right? So I'm kind of feeling like, what would happen? Do you think we would stick together? Do you think we'd get obliterated within what they say 6 days? They're like, it took God 7 days to make the earth. I think they
Yeah,
say.
again, the religious side. We'd get obliterated within 6 days because we still haven't got anything that could stand up to their technology. It would be
No.
exactly the same. It would be no different at all. You know, we've still. I think the best we've got is still atom bombs, unless there's something clever in CERN. So unless someone's gonna, I suppose, having read War of the Worlds, we could get the entire community of the world to just sneeze at the things whenever one comes near. You know.
I mean, we could just send
Um,
them to America because America's really buggered right now. So I'm
well,
kind of.
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
No offense to our lovely, lovely American friends. We love
Um,
you very much and we really are thinking about you.
yes,
Uh,
we are.
but
Places in the
I think
world.
we're rather buggered as well.
We're not doing fantastically. No, I'm envious of my Australian friends at the moment. Australia and New Zealand seem to be getting it, not far off gone.
Well, I'll tell you this, Rupert, to go off topic
Mm,
for a little bit. I had a
mm,
meeting with five lovely Canadian people last night for
mm.
work. And I said, hey, so how is it in Canada? And you know what Canadian people are like? They're so lovely and sweet. And
Yeah.
one of them went, well, you know us Canadians, we do what we're told. Nobody's going out and we're getting over this thing. So let's just do what we're told. And I was like, that's so simple.
Mm,
Why are
mm.
we such, like,
So logical. Yeah.
we're such stubborn bastards. Like, why are we not doing
I
that?
think it's because 100 odd years ago we had an empire built on slavery and horror, and some people seem to still quite like the idea of that greatness.
Yeah, perhaps.
I
Like,
think that's why we're particularly screwed, and why people ponce around going, no, well, you can't tell me what to do. It's kind of like, oh, all right, die then. That's the trouble. If they weren't spreading it, then I wouldn't care.
so are we probably agreeing that this if Martian invaders were to come down tomorrow, you think it would
Hmm.
divide us? Do you think we would just that would be it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It would divide us. I think within the 6 days there'd be pockets of survivors,
Mm.
keeping low key, keeping low tech, so as not to be discovered. I think the human race would. Depends how long they're here for, but if they're colonizing, then they're going to be wanting to change the atmosphere to be more like something they can breathe. So we're not going to survive that
Hmm.
unless we're in caves. I go back to my cave,
True.
cave, fresh water, oxygen. Get some trees down there. And some light to make the trees grow and photosynthesize and lots of algae. Yeah, it'd be fantastic. A pig, a cow,
Guys,
you
we're
know,
party at Rupert's cave.
bows and
Party
arrows
down at
against the
Rupert's cave.
machines, wallop. Um, well,
I'm
that's what they say in the book. We'll start, and on the album, we'll start a whole new life underground. Um,
I'm with you at the cave, right? So I'm quite I like cleaning, right? So
uh-huh,
I'm quite clean. So if this isn't
right.
so if this is an interview for your cave dwelling
Mhm.
it's sort of habitation thing, I am a good cleaner.
Good,
I
right,
am also
excellent,
good at organizing. I can organize the
good.
cave, and I like
Uh-huh,
animals.
uh-huh.
I love animals. So
Oh, fine. Oh, well, welcome to the cave.
brilliant. I'm in. I'm in, you
Welcome to
guys.
well, welcome to the cave of survival after Armageddon. I'll go and start setting this up because clearly it's got legs. This concept.
Like Benny in the chat's asking this.
Hmm.
Would you team up or go alone? Like, so this, because whenever we see apocalyptic films, or whenever we see films like this from past to present, some
Uh-huh.
people survive alone, some people team up.
Mm,
I think
mm.
humans are the most dangerous thing, and I'm a bit of a lone wolf. I would rather go alone with just my husband Paul and my cat.
Well,
And
that's not allowed then.
but, I mean, Paul's not going to kill me, is he? Or maybe he will. I don't know.
Well, exactly that. Well, I was going to say if I had access to people I know and trust, then I'm absolutely having a team. If I don't, I'd be more inclined to go alone because
Oh, okay. Well, what's
I
what?
might I might have been thrown together with this guy or whatever in the last day or so on the streets, but for all I know, he might stab me for my lollipop.
Well, what's nice lollipop stab? What's
Yeah, yeah, this guy in the East End.
what's your role within the group? So I don't know. I think I'm not very good at groups. So if I was in a group, I'd probably just be quiet and
Coward,
meek. I'm quite just like
coward, cynic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be the one who stays in the background and go. I think it'd be a good idea if that happened, and just see if anyone does it first, and
I'm the same. So if Rupert and I find ourselves in the same group, I'll be looking at Rupert going, I know what you're doing. And he'll be looking at me
right.
going, I know what you're doing.
Okay, so at the moment you're stuck in a cave with me. So there's both. So in this cave, we're not surviving at all. We're standing at each end of the cave, going, "Hey, you make the first move.
Yeah,
You sit down first. No, I'm not going to sit down. Well, okay. Why do you want me to sit down then? Are you a Martian?
We end up doing nothing. The cave just goes into
And
disrepair. The animals are all dead of starvation.
it'll be like the end of Zardoz, and there'll just be these two skeletons sat there after about a month because we didn't do anything. We just sat there and atrophied, looking at it in suspicion.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, exactly.
Proof. Therefore, probably the best thing to do is go with team.
Right, okay, so team. As long as
Otherwise, you're a skeleton in a cave.
Rupert and I not in
Yes.
the same cave, maybe in a team, some kind of team, but not in a
Yeah.
cave together, because it'll end up in
If
death.
it if it's a big cave and there's a team in it, it's fine.
Okay. So cave team, fine. Okay, because I'm very
Cave
similar.
cave team, fine.
Cave team. Okay, team cave. I like that. I want
Cave
that in a
team,
t-shirt.
team
Team
cave,
cave.
team cave survival, team survival cave. I don't know. Blimey. Anyway, War of the Worlds, great film, isn't it?
Sorry, it's become like a very bad corporate sort of work day out. Like, all right, guys. So, welcome to Team Cave. It's your 3-day
Martian
post.
survival cave team. No?
I love it. Anyway, War of the Worlds. So we got totally
Yes.
massively sidetracked. Let's read what the chat are saying.
Mm.
Strangle says, yeah, killed by Britishness. No, after you. There's more cynicism. It's like, why are you wanting me to do that? I won't be told what to do. Why are you wanting me to do that? So it's more cynicism. Ellie64 says, there's safety in numbers, though, unfortunately. If there is big tribes of people emerging, you would be better to be in one of them than on your own and vulnerable. That is very, very true. Like, very, very true. And then
True.
we've got, if aliens came down to invade
Unless,
us...
sorry.
Sorry, I'll read this one out. Nate says, if
Mm.
aliens came down to invade us, there will be some countries who would ally themselves with the aliens just to survive. Interesting. Oh,
They would try, but if it's the Martians, then they're not interested. They're just going to wipe them out anyway.
that's
So
true.
I think in this particular scenario, where there's going to be no allying, there's going to be no cozying up, there's just going to be annihilation. I think to begin with, countries would try that. Some countries would try that. Some leaders would try it, and then very rapidly they'd get killed first,
I would love
which would be poetic.
I would love if, like, I reckon someone like Trump would either
Mm.
try to make a deal with the aliens,
Mm.
or shoot first. It would be like one of those things,
Yeah.
like, and I would love that.
Or there you can never tell with him though. Or he might be 500,000 miles underground in his bunker.
That is true as well. Because I also
Yeah.
heard
No.
that Trump is a massive germaphobe. So seemingly he's just like,
Oh.
he's a massive, massive germaphobe. So I doubt he's getting sick in this time.
Why doesn't everyone that we know sneeze on him? I don't mean right now.
Just like,
Actually, I don't mean right now. But in general, why haven't anyone who's got a liberal bent just been sneezing at him whenever they can? That would be
yeah,
hilarious.
just sneeze. Just have a wee sneeze. Just go for it. And I've got
Sneeze on Trump.
cactus
I
snack.
sneeze for Trump. I want that on a t-shirt. I sneeze for Trump.
Make sneezing great again.
Make sneezing great again. Absolutely. Yeah.
Make sneezing great again. I've
Yeah.
got Cactus Snacks and Nikki Drinks, both mods of mine. Both of these boys say, Cactus says, haha, Zardoz. And Nikki says, there's a film that doesn't get talked about enough, Zardoz.
I called my dog Zardos because I love that film so much.
Really?
And also, when I first got him, he was a rescue dog, and he was a bit clumsy, and he'd keep whacking his head into things, furniture and stuff, without any apparent injury. So one day, have you got a head like it's made of stone or something? Like, you got a big stone head, haven't you? You're called Zardos. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. Well, you've definitely found your people, Rupert, because you've got some, like...
clearly, DVD collections and Zardos. Yeah, anyone who gets Zardos, I'm kind of going, all right, yeah.
You have found your people.
These are my people.
I think we could let them into the cave. I think we could.
Oh yes. Oh god, yeah, absolutely. Especially if they bring the DVD collections
Yes,
and a way of generating electricity.
Yeah, and a way to break up the cynicism. Just one of them to go, it's okay, guys. Rupert, Claire, It's all right.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jeez.
That's why I have a team.
You know,
That's why I have a team.
we
Yeah.
need a team, or else I'm just cynical about everything. We've got here Ellie64 said, "Oh, Trump would definitely try to make a trade deal with him. Either that, or I think Rupert's
He
right
might,
though,
wouldn't he?
or just underground. I think he'd just be underground in his cryo chamber."
I think. Oh God, he's got a cryo chamber. Who'd defrost that? I hope when he's defrosted it's in the microwave, it all just kind of goes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of going as it is now anyway, but yeah. Um,
It would be like defrosting a blancmange or something.
it
Jesus
would
Christ.
be. He is a blancmange. He's very like a blancmange, isn't he? There's a blancmange in charge of America.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Make
What the fuck?
Yeah, he's definitely a
There's,
blancmange.
in all fairness, there's a kind of angel delight in charge of England, so you know.
Oh my god, that's right. Oh my god, desserts as leaders, leaders as desserts.
There's
Oh,
the thing.
that's a whole podcast
That's
in itself.
that's this week's Butt Naked Highlander. I tell you, that one's gonna run.
That's the clip. So we've got it. That's it. Every week we're on it. We're so professional. It's we didn't even plan it, you guys. We're just on it. We're just on
There we
this.
go. Absolutely.
We're on.
By the way, it's never any subject in hand.
We're on fire right now. So we've got a blancmange in charge of America and an angel delight in
Yeah,
charge of
an
the
angel
UK.
One of
Amazing.
those kind of fawn ones, one of those 70s ones that was all just sort of fawn and whipped up to the top and was just made of air when you scooped into it. That's exactly what he is.
With that kind of like really sort of fake cream. It's kind of like it just doesn't taste
Oh,
quite
yeah.
right. Yeah.
It looks almost like it's made of nicotine.
Yeah.
It's that kind of colour. Yeah, it's kind
Yeah,
of like,
absolutely.
not sure if that's appetizing or not.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah. If
god,
it
I
gets
love
old,
it.
it kind of starts. If it gets old, it kind of starts weeping a bit. Anyway,
Oh my god,
yeah.
yes, yeah, the weeping, and I kind of feel like if there are aliens, because we were doing a conspiracy corner last week or 2 weeks ago,
Mhm,
we were talking about lizard people, the whole conspiracy
mhm,
thing.
mhm. Yes, yes, yes. The Queen and all that lot.
I feel like there's not like lizard people. Perhaps there's just dessert people, and it's like
Desserts,
the
blancmanges, yeah.
desserts, and yet they take off their masks, and it was like blah, like
Uh,
blancmanges and angel delights and like chocolate
it's
mousses or whatever you wanna.
it's the post-war rise and the use of all the sort of monosodium glutamates and things like that of the last 50 or 60 or 70 years. They've all kind of, as they pass through the system, they all kind of clump together in the sewers and amalgamate and grow sentience and then eventually revert to their original blancmange form and invade.
Yeah. Now there's another FMV game I would play. I'd play this game, or I would.
That would
I would.
cost loads. It would cost loads to just do that sequence, seriously.
Okay, then
And I haven't even done a costing of blancmange.
how about the costing of guys? We need to cost up the blancmange. The blancmange.
It would have to be CG blancmange in part, because it has to be controllable blancmange. You can't control the blancmange.
I feel like or I know what would be more on budget. I think the Rupert and Wee Claire's cave post-apocalyptic cave FMV.
Fine,
That's
fine.
easy.
Okay, just us standing in a cave looking at each other for the entire thing, going, you move first. No, you move. Choice. Move or not move. No, I'm going to not move. Oh, what's she going to do now?
Choices. Move.
Let me look at my inventory. What have I got? Cave. Okay. What can she affect me with? Cave.
Or choice
Right.
choice D, side eye. Side eye all
So
the time.
it's all about
Oh my god, guys. Hands up in the chat if you would play. Ripper, we're on fire. We're coming up with so many ideas for FMV games, I'm telling you. Why aren't we rich and famous?
I like that one because it's one set. We'll just go on location. We'll just find a cave and stand there for probably a day filming all the different reactions, and then that's brilliant.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Shortest script ever. And like we find out at the end, the pig did it. The cave pig did it. There you go. That's it.
Yeah, the cave pig. There's a cave, but that's complicated to shoot now. We've got to have a cave pig. Is the cave pig practical or is that CG like in the Monge?
I mean, we shouldn't work with animals as well. Animals and children. I don't think I'm keen on working with animals or children. I think cave pig.
We could make it do a cave guinea pig.
Yeah.
Someone must have a guinea pig we can borrow and just sit in its cage. It doesn't need to be out of the cage. So it could, a cage guinea pig. It was the cage guinea pig that did it. Look, no one will see that coming apart from the fact that we've told everyone that.
Yes. And
That's not good game design. That's not how you do it.
I just feel like the whole game should just be about can we keep the cave guinea pig alive for like the whole time,
Right.
and that's it. But we're side-eyeing
ourselves.
each other and it's dying. And
Oh no, I tell you, it can go dark though because if there's no exit to the cave, if there's no immediate way out, then maybe we should let the guinea pig die so that we can eat it.
Oh.
And then 48 hours later, there's no guinea pig left. Mm.
Oh, who ate the guinea pig? Who ate it? Who left it out of its cage? Who killed it?
You see, you're missing the big point.
What's the big point?
The guinea pig's been eaten. What?
Oh.
You see,
Oh.
there's actually a story there now.
Oh, see, Rupert made it good.
Yeah.
Rupert made it good. Rupert made it good. I made it shit, but Rupert made it good.
You know what? I don't hate that as an idea. I genuinely don't hate that as an idea. Two people in a time-based survival thing
I
in a
mean,
cave, locked in.
I'm hoping
No, it's a lockdown. Ooh,
a lockdown FMV survival.
It's a lockdown FMV survival thing, and how far will you go? What the more desperate things get. That's quite good.
Right.
That's really,
That
really
I think that's
cheap
very
to
good,
make.
and I think
Yeah,
we need to talk.
right. We'll talk. We'll talk. Oh, good. Another idea.
Another
Great.
idea.
I'll just write that one down as
Does
well.
someone want to pay us for these ideas? Hi guys. Hi
Thanks for
everyone.
these ideas. Hi guys.
Hi guys. Someone pay us. Well, Cactus Snacks in the chat says, "What do you do today? A. Look left. B. Look right. C. Fart. D. Find a light switch." I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking of it even simpler. Side eye left. Side eye right.
Mm,
Stare. Like, I mean,
mm.
really, like, I think that people would play this. I really do think people would
If
play
you're in a
this.
cave, even if you're in a small cave, wouldn't you search for? I'd probably search for a rock or some kind of weapon. Just you'd come at me. I've got a stave a rock at you. Um,
Oh, who would survive? I wonder who you guys would want to survive, me
or
or
or or,
Rupert.
or if the, or if there's a stalactite, or stalagmite, just rive it off a bit. So in case you have to be a vampire, I can stick you through the heart. Because you might.
Yeah, you might. Oh my God,
Don't
Rupert!
forget.
Why isn't this
Got
a
to think
thing?
these things. Because we've
Why?
only just thought of it, and these take time.
Okay. Okay.
Calm
Calm.
yourself.
Oh,
I know you want to organise it, but I've got a lot of scripting on at the moment. So just I
Rupert
don't
knows.
hate it. I'm seriously don't. I seriously quite like the idea.
Rupert knows me already. He knows I like bullet points. So
Yeah. It's give me some time to cogitate.
it's like, and I can see myself in the cave making bullet points out of chalk in the little cave. Like no
Nice.
cave drawings, just bullet points, just lots of little
I'm
bullet
gonna
points.
so win this, aren't I? Because I'm picking up rocks and riving off stalagmites to kill you with.
And I'm
Well,
planning. I'm just
and
planning.
you're making lists. I'm
I'm
gonna win this.
I'm
I'm gonna
doing
survive
admin.
this.
I'm doing
And I
admin.
know I kind of know what the end of the game is now. Well, I'm not going to win it because at the end of the day, once I've killed and eaten you, there's nothing left. I'm going to have to start eating my foot or something
Yes.
like that,
Yeah,
and
no, totally.
that's going to end grimly. Unless maybe I use the stalactite and the rock as I start trying to hew a way out. I'm
Oh
thinking about
my.
this too much.
No, I love
Sorry.
it. I love it. You can tell we've been in lockdown for quite a while now because we're
Yeah,
clearly going mad,
yeah,
but also
yeah.
kind of genius, but kind of mad
Slightly
at
mad.
slightly mad.
Slightly. It's a tiny little bit.
I
Yes.
love it. Right, okay, guys, we've reached the end weirdly of
Is
this
that the end?
bunch.
Oh, blimey,
Yeah,
right.
and
I didn't see that coming.
we spent at least a third of it talking about a cave.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did, and just giving each other side eye. Okay.
Side out.
I hope you enjoyed this quality content, guys.
Top quality content, guys. We're here for you. We're here for you. This is
We're in a cave for you, apparently. So, this.
Oh my God, guys! If you don't see this made in the next couple of years, then please prod us or prod Rupert to write it.
Want someone to pay us, and then we can make it.
Someone to pay us. We need to get that Patreon sorted, man. Definitely. Let's get the Patreon sorted. Right.
Mm,
Before I
mm.
go, that I love talking about War of the Worlds. We did get
Yes,
massively derailed by caves, but
we did, and various things, and blancmanges and Angel Delights running the world.
which is kind of
What?
true.
What's Putin?
What is
Oh,
Putin?
I'll tell you what he is. He's a walnut whip,
Oh,
I think.
Putin is a walnut whip.
That's like a Beatles song. Putin is a walnut whip.
Three
I am war a
chords.
sugar tube.
Yeah, just three chords. Putin is a walnut whip. Oh
Yeah,
my God. And I'm wondering now, what would Merkel be?
cool.
there's a whole. What would Trudeau be? Trudeau would be something kind of nice, I think. He would be.
Trudeau's a bit of a sort of selection box, really, isn't he?
Oh yes, he is a selection box. Yeah,
He's like a box of roses, is Trudeau.
Oh, I don't even think roses. I think, you know, what are those ones, the Gillian chocolates, like the shells and stuff
Oh,
like that?
right.
I'm thinking more like that. I'm thinking more
Well,
like that.
kind of, you're really spoiling us type things. Ferrero Rocher type things. Is that Trudeau? Is he a single Ferrero Rocher?
Yes, true.
Right. I don't know what Merkel is. I think Merkel might be a cabbage or something like that. Just to stand out from the crowd, you know.
Or I thought you were gonna say stand out from the crowd, and I was like, whoa.
No. I wouldn't know.
I was like,
Um,
whoa, that's some punnage there you've got.
true. Um,
Oh, I love
uh,
that. Oh, what would Nicola Sturgeon be? I wonder.
the
What would...
sturgeon. Nicola Sturgeon would be one of those kind of. Nicola Sturgeon would be a sort of lemon sherbet.
Oh, why would you say lemon sherbet?
I don't know. You ask.
Because I'm like, wow, Rupert's really thought about this, you guys.
Yeah,
Really
because
thought
that's the
about
first one that
this.
came into my head. Because it's kind of, all sort of light and lilting,
Okay,
and
okay.
and sort of, yeah. Lemon. If you don't like it, if that's too anti-Scottish, what do you? Is she a fried Mars bar? Will
No,
that suit better?
I like lemon sherbet. I
I like fried
actually,
Mars bars.
I actually like. Somebody's put here a clutty dumpling. Oh, clutty dumpling. Someone's put Battenberg. Strangle says Battenberg. Our lovely American friend Nate says, "What the hell is a walnut whip? How do you describe a walnut whip? Well, it looks like pudding.
It's like a
Tastes like
chocolate
pudding.
Dalek. It's shaped like a chocolate Dalek without any appendages, but the top is a walnut, and it's kind of
Yeah,
got sort of concentric Dalek. The
yeah.
we chocolate and walnut Dalek.
So just it's really they're quite all right actually. Walnut whips are
They're
quite
fine,
nice.
and they've got fondant inside. I'm sure Putin's got fondant inside somewhere. He
Do you
must
think
have.
so? It's like
Uh,
hard outer shell, soft middle kind of thing.
yeah, but he's not all that hard now, Shell, because he's chocolate. I mean,
Yeah.
crush it in your hand.
Oh my
Um,
god.
You'd have a messy hand, but then you'd be too, your hands knackered from so much unscrewing of your door when you've been invading. So you're allowed to crush Putin and consume his fondant inside when you finish your hard day's unscrewing.
I love that. I love that because it's full circle, right?
It
And
is
and
at
also
the unscrewing.
I'm feeling that for the cave FMV, the only way that we can get out of the cave is by unscrewing the door. It has to.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't we just, but at this door, why don't we just work together to begin with, and no one has to die, not even the guinea pig. Maybe that's a choice. Maybe it's the prisoner's dilemma. Oh shit, that
Oh
works.
yeah.
Oh, oh dear. Oh dear. Thanks.
Oh my god, I love it. Oh my god. Cactus says best description for a walnut whip as they're also just as evil as a Dalek. Cactus doesn't like, not a fan. I'm quite
They're not that bad. They're not that bad. Daleks do exterminate lots of people,
They
and
do.
walnut whips don't, I think.
Well, unless you're Putin, I don't know.
Yeah, but he is a walnut whip. He can. He. A Dalek would have a walnut whip. He could take that. He's not going to. A Dalek's nastier, and
Oh,
not as. He hasn't got a fondant inside. It's got inside. So no.
yes. Oh my god. I honestly feel like this should be some kind of lockdown card game, like leaders as desserts.
Yes,
But
I like it. Let's patent it. Okay, so we came up with this on this discussion now.
yes, now at let's see, it's
This
9:31
is
p.m. on the
yeah.
29th of April 2020.
This is our game, which is ours.
But you know what I think we should do with the cave FMV, right? So we've got the
Yes.
screwing door thing, we've got the cave,
Uh-huh.
and in the cave we only have one card game, and that card game is the desserts as leaders card game. So it
How
all comes together full circle
how
somehow.
does this integrate? You see, you've actually got me thinking about this seriously. So I'm actually going to ask serious questions like, how does the card game integrate?
How does it? You're the writer.
No, you do not get to do that. No. If we come up with this together, we come up with it together.
Okay, I'm
I'm,
gonna
I'm
like
not
or
too
maybe that could be the mystery. Maybe we find the cards in the cave and we're like, did you put them here to mess with me? Did you? But we kind
Ah,
of play the card games as it goes on, but it
we
descends
should
into
stop talking
madness.
about this publicly.
Yes. Sorry.
Because we might start actually developing something worthwhile here, and then we'll just be giving it away as we do, and that wouldn't be a game anymore, would it? That would be a foregone conclusion.
Watch
And I've
this
never seen
space.
I've never seen anyone do a playthrough of a foregone conclusion.
No. Watch this
Yes.
space. Watch this space, everyone. That's
Mm,
all I'm
mm,
saying. That's all I'm
mhm.
saying. So, okay, let's do our outro before we start Like, this has just become the idea stream.
Let's not devise yet another game now.
Right. Okay. Rupert, tell
Yes,
me, where can we find you on Das Internet?
Twitter.
Twitter. Where
Pretty
are
much
you?
on Twitter. I'm Rupert Booth on Twitter.
Rupert Booth on Twitter.
Yeah.
I am Wee Claire on Twitter, and I'm Wee Claire here on Instagram. I broke my Instagram fast, and I actually posted something on Instagram today. There you go, people. Very exciting times. If you follow me on Instagram, there's something there for you to look at. Whoopity doo. So please go follow me, Wee Claire here on Instagram, or Wee Claire on Twitter. Next week, we are going to be talking about the film Alien.
Alien.
Oh, yes. I am so excited. Now, originally, Rupert and I were only meant to do 3 episodes of this, but if you like this and Rupert's up for it, we might do more. Rupert,
I am.
you enjoying
Totally
it?
I am. Oh, enormously. As long as you are. As long as everyone else is.
Oh,
Yeah.
like, we get to talk about blancmange. I get to say the word blancmange. I don't think I've said that since I was like 5. So.
I haven't thought about Angel Delight since, I don't know, 1980 something, maybe 1990 something, maybe. I haven't, and now I want to get an Angel Delight.
Yeah, me too. In fact, I tell you what, for next week's podcast, right, I'm going to eat an Angel Delight while we're doing it. Just not even know. I won't even mention it. I'll just silently do it. Should we do that? Just silently.
I think in Vision, then, if we're going to have Angel Delights, then we've got to eat our Angel Delights in Vision.
We'll do it. I'm up for it.
Right.
If you're up for it.
I'm up for it, yes. Provided I can source Angel Delight.
Okay.
There is a pandemic on.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Is it in shops anymore?
Is it? I don't know.
Can you still get it? I don't know.
It's been so long. Like, so long. Oh, Cactus Snack says, I had Angel Delight 2 weeks ago. There you go.
Great. Okay, great. And are you in England?
Cactus is in Wales, so there you go.
Fine. Okay, should be all right then.
Fine. And Rupert's biggest fan says we all should. That's a challenge. I want you all to eat Angel
Damn right.
Delight.
Absolutely. We meet here again next week. We talk about Alien and we eat Angel Delight.
Exactly.
That's already surreal.
Exactly. We're going to talk about Alien. You guys are all going to eat Angel Delight. We're going to eat Angel Delight. That is the challenge for next week's podcast. Please do it.
Nice.
Right, you guys.
How many people? Do you think we can get loads of people eating Angel Delight on Twitter?
I kind of really want them to. And
yeah, I do as well.
Yeah.
I want to do a kind of digital Angel Delight flash mob.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Guys, if you're up for it, please follow us on Twitter. And then you can start posting your Angel Delight pictures and we will look at them in the podcast the week after.
Or American equivalent. I don't know if they have Angel Delight over there.
American equivalent, I don't know what that would be, but we'll look into it. Like, I'll look into it. Yeah, I'm really... Blue Lou says, it sounds delightful. Oh, Blue Lou. Sorry, no.
Yeah. I love the way it's going with a film like Alien.
Yeah.
You know, gritty, realistic, heavy, aggressive, really quite gory film. Oh, well, I'll have an Angel Delight.
I love it.
That's the surrealism of lockdown.
So, guys, next week, Angel Delight, Alien will be back at the normal time of 5:30, right, till 7 o'clock. So back at the normal time, unless something else comes up, but it'll be 5:30 next week.
Unless another Armageddon happens, unless the Martians turn up.
Unless the Martians turn up, it's going to be 5:30. I'm going to be staying on the line with you lovely people, but please say goodbye to the lovely Rupert. That was Sci-Futures, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, Rupert.